Let's see if we are Gucci. We need to make sure that we are Gucci, cause if not, then we're not really Gucci. Ba-da-da-ba. Oh fuck, we live. Just confirm that shit go true. Yes, that's right, we are live. Just confirm that bitch be true. Oh. Hold on. I need to make sure that a certain particular little Fig Newton happens to show himself. I'm just gonna call him that. I'm just gonna literally insult him dramatically and just hope that he shows up. Oh fuck, he already showed up. Dude, I didn't even have to fucking, insult you. You already showed up. Just the thought of doing so, brought it forth. I wasn't even gonna insult you. I was just gonna literally say, Fig! And just hope that you would show up. And you know what? Before I even did that shit, here you are. You've been shitting. You've been having like the shits. Oh my goodness. Dude, I did not pay for any alcohol tonight at all. I'm just gonna put that right the fuck out there right now. Just to make it clear. Like, dude, like, I went to Duffy's tonight at Milwaukee, and dude, everybody there was a fucking G. Like, somebody paid it forward, when it came to a drink, because they got paid it forward, from the day before. And, like, I mentioned that, hey, it was my birthday, and she happened to be doing a karaoke, like, right after she gave me my drink. So, when she, did her karaoke, she said, hey, I want to give this to the birthday boy over there. I'll say Ignar, but she said my real name and be like, I want to give it to Ignar over there. And everybody was like, woo! And like, and honestly, every time I went up to the bar, some motherfucker would show up and be like, hey, I want to buy you a drink, man. It's like, birthday boy, I want to buy you a drink, bro. I'm just like, fuck. Dude, you look lit? Yeah, because I kind of am. Dude, some motherfuckers bought me some drinks tonight. Have one for the road. Like, I was gonna, like, grab, like, a quick shot, before I went home, and, like, someone was like, I'm gonna give you specifically a birthday shot, and I'm paying for it. I was like, motherfucker, god damn it. I just like, you know what, screw it, fine, I'll do it. I said, fuck it, I'll do it, and it was done for me, and goddamn, it was beautiful. That would not happen to me. Dude, like, look, like, when it comes to, like, birthday situations at a bar, up here, it's a fucking different vibe. I don't know what the fuck they do down there, but up here, it's a different vibe. My birthday, I pay for everyone else. Oh, what the fuck? You paid for people on your birthday? That's actually, like, some gay faggot bullshit, bro. Fuck that shit. That's some bullshit right there. That is bullshit, dude. Really? Wow. I was actually surprised I didn't pay for a fucking drink tonight. I think I was gonna at least pay for a few, but as soon as I mentioned the birthday thing, like, everyone caught whiff, and I did not pay for a single fucking drink. I mean, it's, so, like, hey. Like, I'll accept it. At least for Duffy's, here in Milwaukee, dude, that place is a fucking vibe, dude. I mean, the karaoke's, you wanna know how they do karaoke at that bar? They look up the YouTube videos. So a lot of karaoke's I do, they look up. So I've been doing, like, a bunch of karaoke's we've done here, and, and been doing it up there, and everyone's been fucking vibing with that shit. Like, I'm starting to become, like, a popular figure up at that place. Got free meal at Keys, $150 worth of drinks. So, you spent that much on a birthday once? Dude, whoa, oh, damn that. Oof. My brother in Christ. I mean, my God. Goddamn. I am kind of feeling one. Honestly, I'm still in a karaoke mood. I will admit that right off the bat because by the time I wanted to do one more, they were already at their final call and they were done. And I was like, fuck. So, you're gonna get, you know what? We're gonna just start off this shit with one that I wanted to do before I left. I was expected to pay. Yes, the reason why I don't like going on, I was expected to pay. Well, when it comes to, like, your birthday, you should not be expected to pay. Fuck that shit. Like, I mean, that's a little bullshit, I will admit. So, I'm just gonna put that right the fuck out there. Like, I mean, the fact that you spent $150 worth of drinks on your birthday is kind of a little fucked up. Like, I mean, people should have been buying their own drinks at the very fucking minimal. You know, when it comes to your drinks, like, at least people should be buying at least one drink for you. Just one. Like, if you buy a couple for yourself, that's one thing. But, like, at the very minimal, there should be some motherfuckers out there that should be buying you a drink or two. I mean, if you're at a bar and it's a birthday and that's how you're hanging out, there should at least be, like, a few freebies for you. At least a few. I'm just gonna be honest with that one. Even if it's belated. Like I said, my birthday was on the 16th. Pretty much everybody at that bar thought my birthday was that fucking night. Like, I mean, they didn't give a shit. They just heard, oh, birthday boy? Woo! You know, we're gonna make this a fun night. Like, the next karaoke I did, I was doing a Siege of Dunkeld by Gloryhammer. And before I started that, they literally made the entire bar do a happy birthday song for me before I started that shit. I was like, motherfucker, dude. And I just had to be there, like, dance. I was like, happy birthday to me. I had to do some shit like that. Because I was like, oh, fuck, I was caught off guard. Everyone's singing for me out of nowhere. Oh, shit. Anything for free? Well, gotta be up here. Get up here, bro. Like, cause, dude, like, you can literally, like, you know, say, like, hey, my birthday's tomorrow, or, like, it was a few days ago, and people will just buy that right off the bat, and, dude, free drinks are gonna hit you like no fucking tomorrow, dude. Just straight up. I mean, that shit happens, because it happened to me tonight. I don't have the money to come up there. Lamau. Dude, I've mentioned this before, and your little hoe ass knows this. I will, like, help you get up here. I've told that before. Like, I mean, I've said, like, I will help pay for, like, a ticket up here, you know, and stuff like that. I mean, I won't, like, pay for a total round trip entirely, but I'll help you get up here. I'm willing to pitch in for that shit. You know, it's like whatever's needed to make sure that, you know, you can be up here for at least, like, a week. You know, or something like that, and like, I've been open to that. That's still an open thing. I've told you I'm not wasting your money like that. Dude, fuck that shit. If you're up here for 1 week, do you really honestly think that I'm not going to spend money on you? Bullshit. Yeah. Like, we're going to go out and do some shit. And yeah, I'm going to spend some money for you to go experience some shit. You're damn right. Fuck you. Yeah, we're gonna do that shit. Like, I don't expect any. Well, you know what? You might not expect any, but you know what? Accept the results. Accept the results that you get. How about that? How about you get fucked by an anchor? How about that? Wait, where is it? That's not what I wanted. No, not that. Where is it? There it is. I want this. We're doing one. Let's sing it the one. Fuck you with a fucking anchor. We're gonna punch you right in the balls. Fuck you with the fucking anchor. We're gonna punch you. Fuck you all. Fuck you. You're the fucking wanker. We're gonna punch you right in the balls. Fuck you. You're the fucking wanker. You're the cunt, so fuck you all. Go! How about you sing the calm down? How about that? For 30 odd years I've lived up this curse. For my vocabulary was stunted at birth, my witch doctor from over the seas, casting a strange voodoo magic on me. Now when I speak, it's rather absurd. An endless tirade of four-letter words. I anger and adjectives out of my way. Shocking, unspeakable things that I say. YouTube is actually fucking like, it may not. YouTube made this not full screen. It's making it harder to fucking read this. Fuck it. You're a fucking wanker. You're gonna. Okay, you know what? Hold on. You know, fucking YouTube. Dude, look what I'm dealing with here. Literally, look what I'm dealing with here right now. Look at this shit. I literally. I'm aggressively pressing the full screen button and it refuses. So fuck, you know, okay. You know, fuck YouTube. YouTube, you made it worse. Alright, you know, never mind. YouTube made a shit. YouTube made a shit. Dude, why in the fuck does it do this stupid garbage? Hey, whoa! Dude, oh my god, this app is garbage! This app is fucking trash, dude. Like, seriously. Like, I mean, for every little good thing it does nothing but fucking garbage and trash. For every fucking little goddamn thing, you know, that it fucking improves on. It's like, oh no, let's literally butcher every little tiny fucking little faggot thing that we can, you know, for every improvement, because, you know, that's like, you know, one way that we can really ensure that we, like, piss the fuck off of everybody that uses our platform. YouTube is a fucking garbage app. Can we honestly have an improvement? Can we honestly have a fucking app that is fucking better? Like, fuck this piece of shit, dude. Fuck this platform. Such a garbage piece of shit. For every one step it takes forward, it takes like 20 steps backwards. It can't fucking do shit right. Fuck this worthless piece of shit, dude. Fuck this app. At least it ain't like fucking Twitter, where literal Nazis are able to fucking, you know, like, you know, say their stupid bullshit. At least it ain't fucking Twitter or X or whatever the fuck, you know, stupid bullshit that's called. Because that shit is like a Nazi fucking haven. But yet, no, YouTube has to be, you know, a fucking shithole, you know, in every way. Like, it has to be non-functional. You know what, I mean, as, you know, Elon Musk, as garbage as he is, I mean, at least he made his app, like, semi-functional. I mean, fuck. This app is worthless. Like, what, you can't fucking, you know, like, make things full screen? You can't have the chat work properly? You can't have live chats work functionally? You can't have these fucking things that are quintessential to the fucking app and to the platform. You can't have this shit work? You can't make that shit work? Are you fucking kidding me? This app is trash. Like, this whole platform is trash. Like, we can't have, like, a concise, like, workable fucking, you know, algorithm or anything. Even though, for the longest time, we were able to have this shit. But, oh no, because these stupid robber baron capitalistic parasites want to try to maximize profit over, you know, stupid bullshit like advertisements, or like, you know, random bullshit like what's family friendly or not, whatever the fuck. Oh, that is more important. So it's just like that shit, you know, needs to be like, you know, uplifted. So it's like we need to undermine pretty much what made the fucking platform by, you know, destroying it and, like, you know, trying to profitize off of it by, like, you know, just making a corporate shithole. And just destroying everything that made the platform the way it was. I mean, fundamentally. That's what this whole YouTube platform is. It's like, it's trash. Like, for every fucking thing that they tried to improve on, they literally break, like, 20 fucking things of this entire fucking platform. Whether algorithmically, like, within the scripts of the fucking, like, you know, code itself. like when it comes to like how it profit, like how it profitized itself, everything about this, it's just broken. It's just fucking broken. We can't do bullshit. We can't do anything fun. Can't do anything fun. You have to have like 8,000 hiccups, 8,000 fucking random bullshit things, a bunch of random garbage faggot shit that steps in your fucking way. Just because, oh no, we have a bunch of Silicon Valley meth, Adderall, snorting little pieces of fucking subhuman trash that want to fucking dictate how this fucking platform works. A bunch of weird, like, fucking rich, elitist, fucking Indian fucking piece of shit motherfuckers that are running Silicon Valley. Like, these are the motherfuckers that are, like, like, making these, like, platforms and social media, like, websites. Are these, like troglodyte fucking coke-addled Adderall snorting piece of shit that know no fuck one besides how much money they can make to, like, spend on Adderall? Like, being an IT tech weird little piece of shit. Like, these IT tech fucking pieces of shit bros. Like, these Silicon Valley subhuman parasites are literally the major fundamental destruction of, like, what these platforms, used to be. And they're literal parasites. Like, I mean, these Silicon Valley fucking IT tech bros, they're scum. They're fucking scum. They've never left, their fucking basement that they fucking were born and raised in. They are parasites. And they want, and they have inherited their fucking mommy and daddy's wealth to, to basically fucking, just like have this weird little like echo chamber for themselves, to like have this little fun little fantasy land like social media code, to fuck with. Nah, bitch. Like, it's a platform for all of us, not some Silicon Valley fucking tech bro piece of shit to do whatever the fuck they want with it. Now, fuck those parasites. They're a part of the bourgeois as far as I care, as far as I care. Fucking psychos. Like, I mean, they have ruined the app. I mean, people like Elon Musk are a part of that class. A part of that parasitical Silicon Valley, like, hyper-rich Indian fucking, like, super IT tech Silicon Valley bro shit. That's what the, like, people like Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, the people that run Google, the people that run YouTube. Like, I mean, these are the motherfuckers that are literal fucking parasites who do not understand what the fuck human interaction and human emotion and human psychology is. They don't understand what the fuck that is. They only understand fundamentally profit and algorithm fucking, like, maximization of said profit. They could give a fuck about whatever is actually, like, genuine when it comes to content and stuff. And what's, like, fun and what is, like, sociable and what is like okay and like what is considered enjoyable for people, like things like karaoke or things like fucking just like reacting to stuff online or being a streamer or some shit. Like all these fucking things, like our entire fucking system like looks at and shits on it because it's not profitable. Because these tech bros and these Silicon Valley parasites and these robber barons and these capitalistic industrialists, they see that and they see how can we exploit you as a slave, because that's what you are, is a fucking slave to the system. They see you as a slave to the system and see how can we exploit your fucking labor and exploit as much money out of you as possible. And if you're willing to like, do anything when it goes to like, going to a bar, have some karaoke time, or fucking like, doing a stream like this, literally whatever the hell it is, they will find a way to exploit your ass because they don't give a fuck. They want to ruin anything, that's possible for you. To essentially make a buck off of your ass because they don't give a shit. Like, as far as, the capitalist, industrialists, imperialists, and the fucking Silicon Valley motherfucker, when it comes to those motherfuckers, like, they see you as an asset to their profit. They don't give a fuck whether, you have, like, enough, to survive, or whether you are, like, somebody that, is, like, within their class, so to speak, to be able to sustain themselves financially. They don't give a fuck about any of that. They only care about their own. They care about their profit, their, self-interest, and that's it, because they're solipsists. Because our entire system and our entire paradigm fundamentally conditions us to be solipsists, to be like the idea that the universe surrounds us and as an individual, and we as an individual, like, our only thing that exists in the world. Our fucking paradigm conditions us to believe that, where we are the only thing center in the universe, and we're the only thing that fucking matters, and fuck you, I got mine, and I'm gonna, like, literally beat anyone else down, to achieve my shit. That's why we have Karens. That's why we have, a lot of these fucking people who are desperate and willing to do things like, petty crime and stuff. This is why we have all these fucking things, because our system enforces that shit. Whether it's via crime or via these Karens or via whatever the fuck. Like, it enforces this shit as a reciprocal cycle, because guess who that profits the most? Not you. Not the fucking mayor of your city. Not the fucking police chief. None of these motherfuckers. The top 1%. The top 10%. They're the ones who benefit out of all this shit. Fundamentally. Nobody else. I mean, seriously, that's just the fucking truth. I mean, at the end of the day, our entire paradigm in America benefits the top 1% specifically. Even the top 10%, like specifically the top 9% outside of the 1%, the 9% outside of the top 1%, like within that, percentile group, even they are fucked over. Because they're not part of that 1 percentile group that actually legitimately controls everything. The top 1% controls every fucking factor and every element of the United States paradigm. And the top 10%, they're a major strong influencer, and they're a major strong, factor to it, but they're not, the fucking leaders of that shit. The top 1% is. And guess who that is? People like Bezos, like George Soros, Elon Musk. These people are the top 1%. Those are the motherfuckers that are the top 1%. And they actually run the fucking world. Top 10%? Yeah, they kind of do, for the most part. I mean, but they're just benefactors, to the status quo. That's really what they are. Just benefactors, and they play ball enough to be the benefactors. Realistically, our entire system globally is fundamentally built on the 1%. In fact, realistically, the top 0.1%. Our entire system is built on the top 0.1% and what the fuck they want, and when it comes to their interests. And they understand that there needs to be a certain, like, veneer and a certain facade, built, throughout the entire globe, that, it can muddy the waters enough to people don't really realize that. And most people don't. Because realistically, this entire world is owned by, like, 10 people. Realistically. And we know who the fuck their names are, but they just never admit it. And they will never, ever fucking, make sure that their names are more specifically known as that top higher margin that actually runs the fucking world. Like, they will never fucking release that information. They'll always make sure that information is built within the corporation. Because that's what our system is built on. Capitalism and the corporate class. So, when that's the case, then the corporation is the one that represents those people. And there's plenty of corporations that represent them. From Saudi Oil Company, to Exxon, to Shell, to Walmart. Do we have to go down the list? They're all owned by the same 100 people. All of them. There's only like 100 to 200 people that truly own every fucking aspect of all of our lives. About 200 people. give or take. If you're going to consider like financial capitalistic wealth and stuff like that when it comes to power. And if that's the case, then every aspect of our life in our world is fundamentally controlled. Fundamentally. And predetermined from birth. And it always was like that to begin with, but like, I mean, more so than ever, if that's really truly the case. Which I argue really is. So well, that's how the capitalists view it. To any human being that's like a regular person or has any shred of empathy, would understand that someone like you deserves to have like a very, virtue of just like a basic decent comfortability of life. Everybody deserves that. Anyone that has like any shred of empathy or any shred of like principle of like, yeah, like, we all deserve a little better to some extent. Like, I mean, like pretty much every human being is going to understand that and like realize that like not, some, like people like you, for example, don't deserve that type of shit. There's plenty of people that don't see that way. I mean, especially when it comes to the far right and when it comes to like, some of these far right, Christian fascist types of shit, for sure. But like, most people aren't like that though. Luckily. I mean, honestly, luckily. I mean, seriously. I mean, like, as much as they're like a very fucking loud vocal minority, that's what it is. They're a minority. Like, they're not gonna, like, as much as they're going to, like, be as vocal as they are and try to be as, like, violent as possible, like, they're never gonna be able to fucking win. Because fundamentally, like, the judgment of God and Christ himself is going to look down on them and realize that, like, they're the most evil, devilish motherfuckers that have ever existed. And they're going to be burning in their fucking idea of hell. They're going to be burning that shit forever and for eternity. So if anything, like, I mean, I was kind of tempted to maybe unlist my shroom stream when I was like shrooming out a little bit. I'm gonna leave it up there, honestly, because like one thing I distinctly remember was like I was kind of going off about some shit like this, and like this idea that like these Christo-fascist motherfuckers, like using this idea of God and this idea of like, sin and also shit and the idea of hell, it needs to be turned around against them a little bit. Like, fundamentally, they're the real, true, like, advocates of devilry and, like, and legit evil. And when it comes to, like, the actual, like, practices of Jesus Christ, I mean, like, these fucking far-right Christians don't believe a fucking lick of it. I mean, there's an article. I mean, there's been a few videos and a few things about, like, one pastor, Christian Ziegler, I think his name was, like, who was, like, shocked as fuck to be, like, these people, like, see, Jesus and his teachings as too liberal and, like, weak and stuff like that. And it's like, well, if that's the case, then let them be, like, cursed with the idea that there will always burn in fucking hell, then. Like, I mean, if they're willing to believe the idea that, the Christian belief of Christian, like, Jesus is, like, some sort of, thing that needs to fundamentally be, like, like, challenged because it's weak, then they need to be, like, fundamentally pushed to the idea that they're going to be destined for hell. They need to be pushed with that shit. And I think the left needs to take advantage of that. Because, like, these motherfuckers, like, I mean, if we're going to take their Christian beliefs and stuff like that to, virtue and stuff, and, like, to more, some level of literalism, like, every one of these motherfuckers will be destined for hell. They're going to burn for eternity, and they're going to all suffer. You know what? And if they want to fucking, continue on their fucking path, then good. Show them that way. Show them that the path, that they're taking is going to, be judgment from God that is going to be nothing but hell and nothing but, detrimental, torment for the rest of their fucking life. I mean, honestly, some of that topic, some of this, Christian shit, that they fucking push needs to be thrown against them. I mean, absolutely. I mean, because this idea that they can just push this on, queer people or, women that, just want, basic women, autonomy and stuff like that. There's all this other shit. They need to fundamentally understand that, hey, if you're going to say that we're all destined for hell, then guess what? We can throw the same shit right back at you. And if anything, when it comes down to the root of it all, it's more true for us. Because in the Bible, it justifies, things like abortion. It justifies things like gay marriage. It justifies these things. The Bible doesn't even talk about things like transgenderism or anything like that. The Bible doesn't talk about shit like that. So when these fucking far-right fascists and these Christian fascists talk about shit like that, it's based off of nothing. Fundamentally nothing. Because if they actually read their fucking book, they'd realize that, a lot of their shit is more supportive of, queer rights and, the rights of, the most impoverished and the rights of the marginalized. At least when it comes to, the New Testament and the Revelation, and when it comes to, the teachings of Jesus and, Revelations and stuff like that. There's a lot of things, within the New Testament that generally does, push a lot of that shit, but you'll never, ever fucking hear these pieces of shit ever talk about that. In fact, they'll try to scapegoat you and gaslight you and saying that, this idea that, we're somehow, violent and, and stuff like that. Well, we just, believe the New Testament, which is more peaceful, wink, wink, even though it isn't. When it came to Greg Locke, who had this bat with, 1,000 Bibles taped to it and shit. We saw that the other day. That is when it came to his whole sermon about that, that's from 2 Corinthians. Where's 2 Corinthians? It's in the New Testament. And if it's in the New Testament and it's talking about this violence and bloodshed and stuff like that, and violence against the devil's stronghold and stuff like that, then what the fuck is this shit then? Wait, is the New Testament, peaceful or is it violent? Take your fucking pick. Because it's not. The New Testament is just as fucking bloodthirsty and just as fucking violent as the fucking Old Testament. Maybe not just as much, but, fundamentally, it is violent, and it is bloodthirsty, and it is savage. Fundamentally. That's what it is. The idea that it isn't, and somehow it's better than the Old Testament is bullshit. Because I read the entire Bible back to back enough, and we've done Bible studies on the stream, specifically as well, for various different verses. And, yeah, it's bullshit. It fundamentally is bullshit. I bet we burn down church, we get on the slate if we did the same thing for Planned Parenthood, constantly paying for our legal fees. Oh, absolutely. Look at Robert Louis Steer Jr. If you don't know who he is, he literally shot up a Planned Parenthood. And he was a schizophrenic and mentally ill and had a lot of guns. And he literally thought and had literal visions of fetuses, who were, supposedly dead because of abortion, because of Planned Parenthood, who were, set up on the walls and the gates of heaven. These are literally visions, he said, by the way, where those same fetuses had their entrails and their guts, literally adorned all over the fucking walls and the gates of heaven and shit. And he was so schizophrenic and mentally ill and fucking psychotic and so far gone in his beliefs that he thought that was real. And he shot up a Planned Parenthood because of that shit. Robert Louis Deere, that's his name. I'm not fucking kidding. Look him up. He's on Wikipedia. Like, there's a whole fucking thing about it. Like, and he's still alive. He's, serving life in prison. Which, as far as I give a shit, he might as well get the death penalty as far as I give a fuck. Dude's a legitimate psychopath. Like, I mean, it's schizophrenic. I mean, as far as I care, study his brain and his neurology and, as much as possible. But once you study every single tiny little thing about him, just get rid of him. Just fuck him. Lethal injection in his ass and just be done with him. Like, once you study his fucking brain and, figure out why the fuck, the way he was the way it was, just fucking eat him. Just be gone. Be done with it. At a certain point, once, somebody's, material, existence is no longer necessarily needed when it comes to, the egregious acts that they've done, be done with it. Like, you studied the neurology, you studied the psychology, you studied all these different things about this fucking psychotic, demented, adult fucking broken brain. Just be done with it. I mean, in that sense, that would save us some money, but the way the American system is fundamentally just broken with this shit. Even though legally and constitutionally, definitely is there. Mostly for traitors. Constitutionally, having the death penalty is constitutionally protected via, for someone who might be a traitor, against the entire state. Which, there's plenty of motherfuckers that I honestly would give that fucking punishment for, including Trump. Just gonna put that right the fuck out there. But, either way, that is legitimately something that is legally and constitutionally protected. If you're a traitor of the state, as a punishment, you could legitimately be convicted to death. And it would be absolutely justified. And frankly, I wouldn't necessarily be against that. Especially for motherfuckers like Trump and these, Nazi Proud Boy motherfuckers and shit. Yeah, they absolutely fucking deserve that shit. These 3%ers, the Proud Boys, Patriot Prayer, America First, fucking, AFPAC motherfuckers and shit. Yeah, they deserve this shit. They most absolutely deserve that fucking punishment, as far as I give a fuck. See, autism might as well come versus parents' sake. Well, at least when it comes to my idea, that wouldn't even be a consideration. That wouldn't even be, a thought or an idea, from the fucking get-go. So, at least when it comes to my shit, at least when it comes to my advocacy, that wouldn't be the case. We should not open that unless they expand it. I guess, but hey. I still have my thoughts about it, though. If anything, a lot of these, delusional motherfuckers and shit really just, realistically, just need some re-education. Honestly, if we had re-education camps, in America that, just fucking re-educated these pieces of shit, I'd be okay with that. I know that's, authoritarian and fucking, oh no, oh my god, whatever the fuck. I know a bunch of fucking, pieces of shit would fucking, freak out over it, but as far as I care, fuck them. They're a bunch of pussies, they're a bunch of wimps, and they're willing to tolerate the intolerance, so fuck them. If they're willing to tolerate the intolerance to the point that they're not willing to challenge it by any metric, then they're fucking, a part of the problem. And they're a part of that, broader issue when it comes to that, expansion of fascistic, influence when it comes to our government. So, fuck those parasites. Fuck those pieces of shit. If they want to fucking, push that type of shit, then they're an enemy too, as far as I care. As far as I care. Like, fuck them. Pieces of shit. My income is going down next year, apparently. A whole $40. Your income is going down $40. I mean, considering this economy, that's like a pretty decent amount of money. What the fuck? You should have an increase of $40. Oh, bullshit. That's lame. Fake and gay, that's what I say. Fake and gay. Apparently they adjusted my income too much this year, and this is to bring it back in line. Look at it in demand overpayments for this year back. How, dude, is our social security system this fucking broken? As far as I care, like, you should be having like an increasement in your social security. Not like this bullshit of like, oh, it's going down and be glad you don't get to, like, have to, like, pay in or something. That is some bullshit. So Lord, the Goblin Lord, that night of the wolven caverns, we must find a hidden way of the sword of the Lord of the Goblin Lord. There's the Lord of the Goblin Lord, that night of the dwarven caverns, we must find a hidden way of the sword of the Lord of the Goblin Lord. I'm spinning day to day back. When I had my last job, they took half my check away until I quit. What the fuck? Dude, Alabama is backwards as fuck, dude. What the fuck? That's just ridiculous. So you want to work, then you punch for you for it. I mean, yeah, dude, our entire system is basically fundamentally based off of that. Actually, have I ranted about this yet? I didn't. You know what? All right, we're doing it. All right, so like, at work, I found some shit today. So like at work, apparently our management, and this includes my store director and assistant store director, you know what? And at this point, because of that, fuck both of them. Fuck them. Fuck them. They're, they're part of the whole fundamental problem. They're a piece of shit. Fuck them. I don't care. Like, I mean, they, like, are apparently monitoring, the entire deli because, like, we're doing time theft and, taking, like, free food at night and also the bullshit. And guess who happens to be the main motherfuckers that they're looking at? Me and a few, three other people, like, specifically. At least, two, from tonight that I know of for sure, because they happened to be talking about that at the customer service desk while one of my coworkers, and while my closer was at break, and they happened to overhear some of the shit that they were talking about. And what they were talking about was, like, specifically monitoring the deli when it comes to things like time theft and taking free food and things like that. And it's all this other shit. And it's like, do you think that maybe that, like, the fact that, like, you know, things are fucking expensive, inflation is so goddamn ridiculous that these corporations don't give a fuck and they're just, like, you know, making them worse. They're not adjusting the wages at all to accommodate for that. And that, like, most people basically have to do, like, 2 jobs, you know, to essentially, like, accommodate, you know, for a lot of, you know, their comfortability when it comes to their income and shit. Like, what the fuck do you think really is, you know, going to be the problem here? The fact that these people, you know, like me, are not paid enough? Or that the fact that we're somehow doing time theft and all this other bullshit? And having too much overtime and all this other garbage? Like, they're monitoring us for that, try to make us feel fucking guilty for shit like that, and basically try to steal our fucking wages. Like, that's basically what's going on. And are basically going to try to find any fucking excuse, you know, to fire us, you know, basically, when it comes to that shit, because they're also trying to find new closers, and the convenience of them trying to, like, you know, find excuses, you know, for someone like me and a few other people to basically try to either fuck them over of their job or legit fire them, including me. It's like, I wonder what the fuck is going on here. And you know what? I fucking dare them to fire me. I really honestly fucking dare them to. Because you honestly want to know how that fucking department's gonna, you know, what you want to know what the result's gonna be when I'm gone? It's gonna be a shit sty. I'm not even kidding. It's gonna be shit. Like, I'm one of the few motherfuckers that actually, like, makes that makes that place sanitary. Like, I'm just straight up. Like, I mean, I'm one of the few motherfuckers that makes it sanitary. And they want to try to jeopardize my fucking job, which jeopardizes their profit, by the way. Because, like, if they're willing to fire me because, oh no, I take, like, you know, 15 to 20 minute breaks, and instead of 30-minute lunches, I take, like, 40 to 45-minute, you know, lunches, something like that. Like, which isn't even that significant. And if anything, for various different jobs, that's actually not really exactly abnormal. Like, for the fact that they want to, like, you know, try to fuck on me for shit like that, and, you know, make this whole big deal over some shit like that, and basically try to fire me over that shit, and try to, like, you know, figure some shit out over that, and also potentially try to find some excuse that, oh, I'm somehow stealing food from them or some shit, which I'm not. Like, because I guarantee you, they're gonna probably interrogate me for something specific that, you know, I'll just, you know, throw out right here, you know, just because, like, you know, sometimes I'll do, like, some shopping before I actually pay for it, you know, and have it, like, at the counter, you know, right at the front of, you know, our deli department, you know, when it, you know, and stuff like that. Like, I'll have, like, you know, sometimes some tea, I have, like, you know, some dog food, or maybe some, like, you know, chicken nuggets, or whatever, you know, some random shit, you know, stuff like that, you know, groceries, you know, random stuff that, you know, I'll grab from the aisle. And for some reason, I think they assume that I'm just not paying for any of that. And they are also using that as an, you know, an attempt to try to, like, monitor the deli and shit like that. And I guarantee you that they're not gonna, like, find any motherfucking proof of any of that shit. Sounds like you're silly. No, I'm not. I'm literally not. Like, I'll have stuff at my counter at the department, but when it comes to, like, you know, once I'm about to leave, I grab the stuff that I need, you know, and we'll go to either self-checkout or one of the, you know, checkout stands and pay for my shit and clock off and I go home. Like, that's what I fucking do. That's literally what I do. Like, I don't take every single thing because sometimes, like, there's, like, a sale for, like, a 3 for 10 or, like, a 2 for 7, you know, fucking sales price or something like that. But, you know what I do? I take the one item and boop, and then I put it in the bag, you know, because I have it over at my department because I don't want to carry a bunch of random shit with me. So I take, you know, the one item that I have and just, you know, ring up however many items I have left over so I can, you know, pay for my shit. That's what I do. That's literally what I fucking do. Like, in my company and the management wants to look at motherfuckers like me and other people, mainly the closers especially, as somehow liable for stealing food and taking free samples, or, you know, taking longer breaks that, you know, and doing quote unquote time theft which literally is non-existent. The idea of time theft is literally a corporate made up bullshit fucking term that means fucking nothing. Like basically the idea that, you know, you might be like 5 minutes over on your break or some shit. That's what they're talking about when it comes to time theft. Like, oh, you might have something that, you know, comes up and, you know, you might need to take an extra 5, you know, on your break or like on your lunch or something like that. That's what the fuck they're talking about. It's shit like that. Like, I mean, like, they think, you know, that is quote unquote time theft, which realistically doesn't even impact their fucking profit anyway. Like, I mean, like, even let's say that I don't clock out for lunch, and I take even a longer lunch than I normally do anyway, despite that fact, and come back and, you know, do my job. Like honestly, most of the time, by the time I'm, you know, finished up with my job, I'm done before I'm even scheduled to be done with my shift. Like, I'm scheduled to be out by 10. And by the time I'm done with my job, fundamentally, like, at the end of the day, like, I'm done before 10. Most of the time, if it's a pretty slow day. And today was a slow day, and I got out before 10. So, like, there should be literally no fucking excuse for them to make these fucking arguments, and yet they want to push this fucking bullshit. And jeopardize my fucking income and my fucking life, because God fucking forbid I take like a, you know, extra 5 minutes on a break. Which legally in Oregon is okay. In Oregon, legally you're allowed a 15-minute break. Legally. By law. Like, doesn't matter what the fuck corporate says. Legally you're allowed by that shit. So it's like, I mean, fundamentally, like, that's what I stick to. I stick to what the fucking law says. I don't care what corporate says. I care what the Oregon state law says. And what they say, I buy that shit. And I don't give a fuck what they have to say about that shit. Because if they want to challenge it, they have to go up against Oregon State, you know, when it comes to that shit. Because guess what? The state of Oregon has certain laws, you know, to protect, you know, people like me from shit like them. So, fuck them. I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm going to look after myself fundamentally at the end of the day. And I'm going to understand what the, you know, state laws is when it comes to my worker rights in this fucking state. And they ain't going to fucking, you know, like, manipulate me away from that shit. Fuck you. Hell no, Safeway. I know what my laws are. I know what my rights are. I know what my right-gotten rights are as well, on top of that, which is national rights as a worker. Like, so, don't fuck with me. Like, I mean, you know, when it comes to, like, you know, this corporation, like, they especially the last couple of years, have been really trying to find a way to get rid of me. So, you know, fuck them. Like, I'm honestly trying to egg them on. Because, frankly, if they really want to try some shit and try to fire me, I will legitimately sue for them. I'll sue their ass. I'll fucking settle and, you know, get a bunch of fucking money out of it. I don't give a fuck. Because, like, I mean, realistically, they'll be in the wrong at the end of the day. I know what the fuck my rights are. I know what the Oregon state laws are when it comes to workers' rights. I know when it comes to all this shit. I know my rights as a worker. And they ain't gonna fuck me away from that. I'm not stupid. I'm, like, I know this shit. Don't want to work for money anyway. Dude, don't have that mentality, bro. I mean, you don't have to necessarily, like, work or whatever the fuck, but, dude, don't have that mentality, man. I mean, because, like, dude, I'm just gonna put this right off the bat. My mom's probably gonna be gone before yours, and I don't even know what the fuck I'm gonna do when my mom's gone. I'm just gonna put that right the fuck out there. You know, okay? Like, so, you know, like, if I'm gonna be able to at least figure out some situation for myself when that happens, which is gonna be way before for you, you'll survive. That well, if that's the case, then so will you. I won't be able to. Dude, as it stands right now, I won't be able to. Dude, you underestimate about my circumstance. Like, if my mom legitimately were to die, like, right now, or at the end of the year, or, like, you know, sometime, you know, by the time, you know, like, by the end of this year, or anytime, you know, around then, I'd legit would be homeless. I'd be fucked. My dad would be fucked. I'd be fucked. I'd be done. I'd legit be, like, feeling the same situation that you would feel. Like, I mean, legitimately. Like, as it stands right now. Luckily, I mean, I got a time frame, but it ain't long. It isn't long. And I know that it's set. And it's, you know, that's the time frame that I have to figure shit out. You got longer than me. Legitimately, you have longer than I do. I got fucking 5 years or less. You got like 10, give or take. Okay? Like, I mean, dude, you're in a better situation than I am, dude. Like, seriously, as a brother to brother, like, I say that with fucking earnest. Like, you are in a better situation than I am in, dude. Because if my mom's gone, like, today or tomorrow, like, I would be fucked. I don't know what I would do. I wouldn't be able to be here. Honestly. Like, I mean, I'm being serious. Like, I wouldn't be able to be here right now. And I have 5 years. Give or take. Less than that, realistically. I mean, the idea that my mom's gonna be gone really more sooner than I really honestly fucking thought is fucking freaky to me. Because, like, you know, as much as I'm, like, kind of set to a certain extent, I really am not fucking set at all. Like, I mean, there's no guarantee I'm gonna be able to stay here. You know, like, there's no guarantee that lights are gonna stay on. You know, I'm gonna be able to afford groceries, stuff like that. You know, even my fucking job right now, you know, like, because they're fucking finding any excuse to fire me at this point. And this is on top of what I got going the fuck on right now. Like, I mean, it's fucking serious. You know, like, at least for my situation. I mean, it is for you too. I mean, I ain't gonna fucking downplay that, but, like, things are gonna get really fucking serious for me very fucking quickly. I mean, honestly, legitimately, way more quicker than you. I mean, it ain't downplaying your situation, that's, you know, whatsoever. But, like, the chances are that, you know, I'm gonna lose my mom for you is kind of likely, and what I can do is very fucking limited. It's already limited as it is, and you're even more limited than me, you know. So it's like, so that's saying something. It's kind of why I want to try to egg on the idea of you being up here, because, you know, it's like, if you're able to still, at least at minimal, have some sort of, like, you know, Social Security, and I'm able to at least have a job, and maybe I have a homie, and even my dad, if he finally fucking takes Social Security for once, and stuff like that, like, it would be doable. It's not like, you know, the end of the tunnel is just nothing and death and whatever the fuck is. That's not what it is. Like, but it's certainly unknown. You know, like, the next, like, 5 years are absolutely fucking unknown to me. Like, I don't know what's gonna happen. Like, you know, like, I mean, especially with my mom's, you know, health right now. Like, I mean, because whatever happens to her, what, you know, be my situation. And if anything were to happen to her, you know, within, especially the next couple years, just legit, I'd be fucked. I wouldn't know what to do. I don't want to go to fucking Texas. I sure shit don't want to be in Arizona with my granddad. Not that I don't love him or anything like that, or my fucking family in Texas or anything like that, but like, I don't want to be down there. I don't want to be down south. I don't want to be down southwest. Like, that's not my home. And like, and also, it's just, I want to be comfortable there, environmentally, just for one, and also just the culture. I mean, like, I would not be. It wouldn't be my spot. It wouldn't be. It wouldn't be me. And I just. It would be detrimental to me, honestly. So I was screened out about making Alabama as my new doctor's question my autism status. Well, your doctor's your new doctor's an idiot, and you certainly need to find a new doctor. I mean, I'll just put that right out there. His office will burn. He sounds like a piece of shit. I mean, like, he just sounds like a fucking worthless fuck that, like, doesn't understand what autism is. Like, I mean, fundamentally. Because, I mean, you are. I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean that, like, you're just, like, utterly, like, dependent on, like, every factor of the system. But, like, I mean, there needs to be a basis of, like, standard, for your, comfortability. And that includes an income. And that's why things like Social Security fucking exist. So people like you can have that. And, and our for-profit capitalistic system, fundamentally, looks at shit like that and says, nah, you're not like actually, disabled or something like that. So we're gonna fuck you over fundamentally. Because, I feel like it. Because I'm taking away my income is a threat to me. Well, I don't really think they're gonna... I don't really think the FBI or any organization or anything is gonna knock down your door over some shit like that, unless you actually try to enact on that. But, I mean, just get a new doctor. I mean, just stop going to that doctor, stop having appointments, and just go find a new one. That's all I would say right off the bat. I can't. You can't? Wait, okay. I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick, but they assign me doctors. See if your mom can change that up then. I mean, honestly, like, because that is legitimately bullshit. Like, you shouldn't be able to just be, like, assigned a doctor and you can't have any say. I mean, that is bullshit. I mean, I would see if you can find a way to change that shit. But here, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. Okay, I'll be right back. I'll play a tune, though. Yeah. Hey, what's up, puppy boy? shit. Oh my god, okay, oh fuck, okay, my arm is hurting way too much for this. Little percussion dog. Little drum dog. He's a little drum dog. Ah, this arm is this arm is burned something fierce, I will admit. Ugh. Getting a little exercise out of drumming this dog. Little percussion dog. Little percussion dog. That's what you is. Little percussion dog. I can squeeze you until you pop and you wouldn't give a shit. You don't give a shit. I just literally squeezed you as much as I could. And then give a shit. Look at you. I squeezed you to the maximum capacity and you did not give a fuck. At least squeeze him as much as I could and you didn't give a shit. Dude, what the fuck? How much abuse can I give you and how much do you not give a shit, dude? Like, seriously, like, half this shit I do to you, I would assume hurts you. Ain't no give an iota of a fuck. Like, look at that. Oh my god. Look at this little fucking fruit. What is with that? Like, this fucking weirdo, dude. Like, how many times did I just, like, fucking pressurize, like, I just, like, squeeze pressurize him. Like, what, like 3 or 4 times? And, I mean, look at him. He don't give a fuck. He's just like, it's like, what's up? I don't care. I'm just, I exist. I manifest as a thing, just here. Oh. Really? Seriously. Oh my god, you little worm. He doesn't care. What the fuck? Why do you not care about any of the shit that I do to you? Chungus, look at you. Oh. Oh. Oh my god, he's a goofball. Okay, alright. Alright, you're a goofball. Here. What the fuck? Bro. Goof? Here. Come on. Ow! Ow! Fuck, dude! Ah! Fuck! Was that really that necessary? To be so aggressive? Jesus! Man! Fucked my arm up. Ow. You're such a jerk! You're a jerk, you know that? You little asshole. Why do you do that every time? You do this every single time, dude. Well, maybe not every single time, but like 90% of the time. 90% of the time, you fuck my ass up every time you fucking leave me. When I'm hanging out with you, on my lap, being a little sweet boy, and no, you have to be a dick and fuck me up. At least this time you didn't hit me in the dick. But still, I mean, shit, dude. Stu's not a toy. Yeah, he is. Hey, he's a percussion instrument. You didn't know that? He's a percussion instrument. Yeah, he's like... Like, dude, yeah, he's a percussion instrument. Like, he's mostly a drum. You didn't know that? He's a drum. He's a percussion instrument. Wait, don't be denying that of him. He identifies as such. I mean, come on. 2 things sent. 1 from Twitter, 1 from Discord. I won't give you pleasant dreams. 1 will scar you for life. What will I choose? Oh shit, dude. It haunts me. Well, I clicked the Twitter thing first. Yes. Ah! What the fuck is this? Ah! Purge your PlayStation Fly controller for it be evil, cause yeah, yeah. Ooh, yeah, yeah. Burn that evil controller. Yeah, yeah, oh, look at that kitty! Yes. Yes. I want to see more of this kitty. Cute little kitty. The kitty's cute. Venom is officially made me vegan if you want me to know this. I want you to know this. Good. I'm gonna be vegan now. In fact, I'm actually gonna be vegetarian because I can't get rid of certain animal products like eggs. I love eggs, so I can't get rid of that. So I'm gonna be vegetarian, but I do understand, you know, your fucking plight. So I sympathize with you. For the coming rise, yeah, yeah, yeah. Ooh, yeah, yeah. Ooh, let's go. Stepping on rock the seal. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You convince everyone else. Why not convince yourself? I mean, no shit. Convince yourself, brethren. Convince yourself. For you have convinced all of us into the enlightenment. Convince yourself, warrior. For you have been distracted and misguided and blinded by the evil rich. You must not succumb to the evil witch. You must enlighten yourself to the true light of power. You must. Wow, wow.
The one that was banished to the hell of hell is now free since you lifted the spell. The cycle of time has restarted again. That time that has passed ever since has passed in vain. As all that good will vanish.
You see him put a pistol in your mouth?
Will remain.
Boo! Wow. So, you're just gonna let evil conquer? You're gonna let the darkness consume all of the universe? You're gonna let the aliens win? You're gonna let the, like, extraterrestrial aliens win with their evil and their chaos? And the disorder? Oh. They already won? Oh, but what happened to humanity first? What happened to that shit, huh? What happened to humanity first? You wanna know better? You're gonna let the plants win? You have to let them eat them before they eat you. Exactly. That's why he's gone vegan. Mandy pissed himself away, pissed away his chances 100 years ago. I mean, I wouldn't say 100 years ago. But it certainly has pissed away his chances, I mean, to a certain extent. I mean, but I wouldn't say 100 years ago, personally. I mean, we were aware of the problems 100 years ago. We probably could have been enlightened enough to figure that out, but we weren't there yet. As well as our tomb. I mean, objectively I disagree, because just on the virtue of Voyager 1, Voyager 2, and a literal manhole that's interstellar. I mean, our world isn't necessarily our tomb. Oops. I mean, at a certain point, we're going to be able to, venture to the stars. I mean, it's just really, realistically, it's like, are the people that are going to go to these, places going to survive? I don't know. Maybe. Depends on if, we feel like we're, confident enough for that. That's being unrealistic. Not me. Because you're the one who's, about humanity first and us, conquering the stars and enslaving aliens and stuff like that when we conquer different planets. I mean, personally, I'm not necessarily the one that's, thinking we're gonna, as a species, do that shit. I will just put this out there, if humanity is able to traverse the stars and shit, and we're able to colonize other planets, I mean, I wouldn't be against that. But we need to at least recognize that the life of that planet, if there's other sentient life on that planet, then we should recognize that too. Chances are though, I don't really think we're gonna find sentient life on other planets. You know what I mean? Frankly, the idea that sentient life on other planet, that's gonna be on the opposite side of the galaxy for us. I mean, honestly. I mean, realistically, the ability to find that is gonna be nigh impossible. Even if, let's say hypothetically, honestly, even do figure out that does exist, we're probably not gonna be able to communicate with them. You know what I mean? At least not right now. I mean, it's just given, enough of the time, we could potentially, figure out that there's other, life out there, but we're not going to be able to truly, really, communicate with them up until we actually, meet them. And considering that they're probably going to be basically across the galaxy, for all intents and purposes, that's going to be pretty, very minimal. If you find aliens, less advantages for it should be enslaved and used for. Then again, there's such thing as alien rights, just human rights. Oh my god, here we go again. Okay, well, the thing is, that's just because, as far as where we're right now, sentient life outside of the planet is not known. So, until that is known, we're not going to fundamentally, be able to really, conceptualize that shit. We could think of ideas for sure, we could think of oh yeah, with Star Trek or Star Wars, stuff like that, we could think of a general premise of the idea of extraterrestrial life and shit. I mean, but until that happens, we're not really gonna understand how humanity is gonna react to that. Gotta legislate those rights. No, you can't. Because, okay, alright, you wanna know why? Because look at Roe v. Wade. Roe v. Wade, abortion rights, was not done via legislation at first. It was done via the Supreme Court up until the Supreme Court decided to say never mind and revoke that shit. So, thus leaving it to states' rights. So because like at one point the Supreme Court said that abortion rights were legal, and now because of the far right Supreme Court now says otherwise, you know, like that it's bullshit, dude. That's not a good premise, dude. Like the idea that like you have to quote unquote legislate certain things into law is kind of bullshit, because like I mean fundamentally there's been plenty of things that have been like, you know, put forth as law that weren't done via legislation. And also, there's been plenty of things that have been, you know, like, counteracted and, if anything, suppressed via the idea that the Supreme Court has authority over certain things like legislation. So, at least as it stands right now, kind of bullshit. It's not illegal, then I don't want to do it, I'm going to do it. Well, guess what? That's not how it works. Like, unless the Supreme Court, at least with our current paradigm as it stands right now, unless like the, you know, Congress legislates a law, or the Supreme Court says otherwise, like, I mean, basically, as far as, you know, is concerned now, like, I mean, you could potentially be criminalized and penalized for that. I mean, whatever the fuck that might be. I mean, honestly, I mean, because, you know, just considering, you know, with, like, how our paradigm is now. It's more based off of, you know, like, profit and capital and stuff like that, more so than the individual, so when it comes to, like, you know, your own general interest, like, our current judicial system ain't gonna give a shit about that. What are you doing? Shoot an alien with no rights would get me in trouble in mouth. I mean, it probably would. I mean, the idea that, like, if you shoot an alien that might have sentient rights, I mean, that may or may not get you in trouble. That depends on how the current judicial system is. Or even in the future when that may happen. I mean, who's to fucking say? At least that stands right now. Dude, you had a lot of food earlier today. Are you really that hungry? Oh, hold on. Apparently my dog is this hungry. Oh my god, you're a fucking hoe. Quit staring at me. Are you really this hungry? Holy shit. Oh my god, you must be. Holy fuck. Hey, can you, like, bug off or something? Oh my god. There you go. Jesus Christ. There you go. Oh. If it's a conservative system, I 100% I assure you that I won't recognize alien rights. What? Might end up on the verge of making interstellar communication and joining galactic society, and Venom with a shotgun would tell us to get into an invasion war. Yeah, he would, like, tell us of a 20 gauge shotgun, like, we gotta fight these fucking aliens, brother! My human brothers and sisters, we must unite against the aliens! And he has a 20 gauge shotgun, and it's like, bitch, you think a 20 gauge shotgun is going to do anything against an alien? Good luck, brother. I'm gonna sit there and be like, yo, can I fuck one of your female or male aliens? Can I fuck one of your aliens? I don't care if it's male or female. I literally do not give a fuck. I am pan. I don't care. Let me fuck whatever you got. I mean, I'll be one of those people, okay? I don't care. I literally would not give a shit. I'd be like, hey, is there a way to, like, you know, for me to, like, you know, do sexual experiments? And if so, I'll volunteer as tribute. what is it? Like, is it this? Or is it this? Like the Hunger Games? A Volunteers Tribute. Or is it this? I don't know. It's like 2 or 3. I don't know. I don't know which one it is. I don't even have a shotgun. I do. You want to borrow it? You want to borrow it for the meme? Want to try some alien food? Avatar might be a subpar movie, but the fruit in that movie looked delectable. Dude, for real. Like, Pandora, honestly, a lot of the shit about that planet looked fucking awesome. Don't give me a shotgun. I'm not. The only time Venom is ever going to touch my shotgun is if we happen to go to one of my redneck ranches out in the fucking, like, middle of the Cascade Mountains in Oregon. That's literally the only time he'll ever touch it, but guess what? The only time he's ever going to do that is if he gets his fucking ass up here, and he never will do that because he's a pussy. So... fuck got flexed on, Venom. What are you going to do about that? Oh, that's right. You're not going to come up here. That's right. You're not going to move up here. You're not even move. You're not even going to visit here for a week. To have some fun. You're not even going to come up here for 1 week to have a little fun. Boo. So I can have some body modifications to myself, especially my head. Venom wants to eat alien ass. He wants to eat some alien ass and you want to do some special body modifications with a shotgun. You know what? I might just, like, you know, force fuck you, like, in the ass, you know, because of that. How about that? How about that? What are you gonna do about that, huh? That's right, nothing. In fact, you might like it anyway. I'll die, baby. No, you won't. Okay, dude, Venom, you do realize, as far as I'm, like, know you and shit like that, that's not gonna happen. I'll be okay with you being here. I don't give a fuck if you know, are just, like, living based on strict social security every month. I don't care. I make enough money to be able to sustain me, my dog, 2 cats, and 1 other human being. Barely, I'll grant that, but nonetheless, I'm able to. Okay? Like, so, don't think you're going to somehow be like, you know, some sort of extra fucking problem or something. You literally won't. If anything, you would actually be a benefit because at least you would be putting money, you know, every month. My dad doesn't because he's too much of a libertarian dipshit idiot, you know, to fucking take government social security because he's, you know, fucking, like I said, a weird libertarian idiot. Like, I mean, my mom has pressured him so many times over the last, like, frankly, like, for 5 fucking plus years to go on social security, and he refuses to. Because he doesn't want to be on that government dime or whatever the fuck, because he's an idiot. And he wants to fuck himself over because of it. And frankly, everybody, you know, me, my mom, he wants to fuck everybody else over because of that. You would actually legitimately, unironically be the benefit. Like, honestly, if you were to be here right now, you would literally be a benefit. Like, you wouldn't have to change anything about your lifestyle. And it would be a benefit to yourself and to me and to everyone else besides. I mean, honestly, I'm just saying that right off the bat. Like, so, it's not like some sort of, like, you know, impossible thing, dude. It is honestly a legit possibility. I'm tired of helping parasites anyway. Well, guess what? I wouldn't be a parasite. Nor would anybody else around here either. So if you were, like hypothetically, Venom, if you were to move up here in my house and stuff, nobody here would be I mean, arguably my dad probably would. But let's just say that, like, you know, even if that is the case, I'm already supplementing him to an extent. And you wouldn't have to do that. I'm already doing that. And I'm okay with that because, I mean, he's my dad. Like, I mean, I have, you know, I might have, you know, flaws and issues with him either way, but, like, I mean, he's still my dad. I still love him. I still don't want him to be fucked over, right? Like, I mean, I'll handle his shit. You wouldn't have to worry about that. I mean, like, the only thing you have to worry about is just, like, your shit. I don't want it to be, I just want... Dude, oh, bro, don't be like that, bro. Like, the fact that you have at least one homie, just one fucking bro, that's out there saying, like, hey, you know, like, I care enough for you, I care enough about you that I want you to, like, at least, you know, still have an opportunity outside of what you might think, you know, is all you got. Like, that's a fucking door right there, dude. Don't fucking shut that door, dude. I mean, honest. I mean, I'm being serious, bro. I mean, honestly. I mean, like, set yourself up to, like, you know, where, like, you know, once, you know, like, inevitability where your mom is, like, you know, unfortunately unable to, you know, like, care for yourself and herself and stuff like that and all that shit. Like, I mean, like, use that as an opportunity to set yourself up to get, you know, into a situation where you can be with a friend that legitimately, you know, can help you out. And you know what, at the end of the day, if that's me, then legitimately so fucking be it. Like, let that be the case. Because honestly, like, when it comes to my income, like, I mean, I legitimately, like, you know, my income goes to not just myself, but to 3 animals and 2 other people. I mean, honestly, like, I mean, it's not just to myself. Like, I mean, you know, the idea of having one other person that I'm, like, putting, like, 30 extra bucks or 40 extra bucks to, I mean, that's not a big deal to me, dude. And also, like, the virtue that I'm in a union and at a workplace that has that in itself. Like, I mean, I'm in a situation to where, like, in comparison to most people my age, I'm legit better off than most people. So it's like, I mean, at the end of the day, like, when you have someone like me who's your peer for the most part, who is legitimately in a better situation, I mean, take the fucking, you know, like, opportunity. Take the door, you know what I'm saying? Like, go through the door. I mean, it's just like, it's one of those things where it's like, it's there, and, I mean, one, you know, and obviously it's, yeah, that's not gonna, you know, be a thing now. I mean, I'm okay with that. I mean, I recognize that, and it's fine. I mean, because, like, I got my own shit going on and stuff like that. Like, I mean, there's, you know, we got our familiars happening, you know, right? Like, I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, you want to try to build up to a situation where you will be okay, you know, when you know that there's going to be a focal point heading up. And you and I, we're in the same boat, dude. I mean, you know, I'm specifically talking about this. Like, we're in the same boat. Like, your mom and my mom are, unfortunately, got a legitimately, like, very limited time clock, you know, on this earth right now. And frankly, when it comes to my mom, way less than yours. Like, I mean, you got your mom way longer than I do. I mean, when it comes to predictions, so to speak. I got my mom for no more than 5 more fucking years, dude. She's gonna be gone within, like, the next 5 fucking years. Like, I mean, I like, it, right now, it's kind of like a, I don't know, like, you know, some U.S. Army Ranger, like, you know, you gotta fucking be, like, you know, up on that bullshit type of thing, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of some shit like that. I mean, it's like, I gotta make sure I'm set, because, like, there's certain things about myself right now that just isn't. And, like, I'm slowly but surely trying to build myself to that, but, at least for me right now, it needs to be fucking quick. Or by myself, I do not, will never matter. Dude, bull fucking shit, bro. Bullshit. You do matter. Every fucking individual, as far as I give a fuck on this planet, matters. Including you. Like, every fucking individual matters. And you know what? Since we're all in the United States of America, and we're all in this fucking, you know, boat, here, like, we at least have a little bit more of an influence and impact, for each other, and to, some extent. You're not like in fucking the Netherlands or fucking Somalia or wherever the fuck. I mean, you're not anywhere else in the world. You're in the United States. So am I. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, we all got the same struggle. So it's like, and thus, because of that, we all have, like a door, for an opportunity, to be able to, like, fare a little better despite, what we got going on for our own lives. And that includes myself and you and anyone else besides. I mean, legit. Oh, whoops. I mean, honestly, and for you as well, seriously. I mean, you might really not think it, but, like, because the thing is, like, do you really think I matter, so to speak, when it comes to my work, or when it comes to my familiars, or anything else? Fundamentally, when it comes to the state of Oregon, when it comes to the corporation I work for, when it comes to all these other fucking things, I'm just another fucking cog into all of that fucking shit. It means fucking nothing. It fundamentally doesn't. You really think that, like, going to... At least your life has... Oh, well, I'm countering this right now. It's funny enough how I'm getting into it right now. Like, I mean, you want to know how it necessarily doesn't? Because, like, you really think Safeway gives me fucking meaning? It doesn't. It really doesn't. You really think working there as, and working for that company really gives me meaning? It doesn't. You know what does, though? The fact that, like, I mean, it is the union, and once I start realizing what union power and labor really looks like, and when it comes to that type of power, and knowing that, at least, hey, I had that revelation, like, like, already kind of had that there. I mean, I was lucky with that. Like, honestly, funny enough, when I, first got my job, that workplace was, shortly before that was unionized. Like, it wasn't that long before I, got hired when it was. I mean, like, and I never knew a fucking thing about unions or labor or anything like that when I first, started working. I was fresh out of high school. I didn't know or, frankly, give a fuck about that. Like I was just like, hey, I just want to make sure I make some money so I can, like, enjoy my personal life, playing video games or this and that and stuff like that. Like, that was my first concern. But, I mean, once, like, especially COVID happened, and at least, a little bit before then, like, that really started to change a little bit. I started to really see, like, what, being, in that union, even though, honestly, it's like, when it comes to UFCW, as, like, I mean, as toothless as it really kind of is to an extent, I mean, lately, at least for our local, especially, it's starting to get its claws back a little bit. It's starting to get its teeth back. And, and especially in the last, like, year or two. And that's just exceptionally been, like, very good for me. Because, like, for the when our new contract finally got ratified and we voted for that and got that shit through, like, every year since then, we got a $1 increase, when it comes to the people who are journeymen, including me. And I had to fucking fight to make sure I got fucking journeyman in the first place. And, like, now at this point, I'm going to see if, like, it's, caught up with, the, everything else, when it comes to my wages and stuff. If not, I'm going to make sure that, my union rep, is aware of that and make sure it's addressed accordingly. So it's just like, at least at this point, it's like, I mean, there's at least, some teeth, starting to come back. And because of that, it's because, like, people are starting to kind of take, especially when it comes to labor, more of a recognition to something like that. And more of a realization that that's how they, at least especially in the more immediate sense, they can get a little bit more power back, when it comes to their own sense of value. I mean, and realizing that for myself especially is, something that's certainly benefited me. And, I mean, especially when it comes to some of the bullshit that my work's trying to pull right now. I mean, like, there's certain tricks, that I've learned over the time, because of this type of shit that's up my sleeve, that they're not going to be able to necessarily just fuck me over. Like, they could try, but they're not going to be able to necessarily. Because there's things that I know about when it comes to Oregon law, when it comes to my Weingarten rights, which is, and, like, and all these other things. Like, I mean, I know what the fuck, my rights are. And when it comes to, like, me as a worker, and when it comes to my protections. And that is the most valuable fucking thing that you can learn. It's your Weingarten rights, and when it comes to, like, the general, like, broader, like, verbiage when it comes to corporations that they use against workers and stuff. I mean, all these various different things. Actually, hold on. I mean, here, let me see if I can find a union card around here. I usually have one around sometimes. Let's see if I think I might have one over here. Yeah, right here. Okay, yeah, it says right here. Right here on the back. See? Right there at the bottom. So it says, Weingarten rights. If this discussion could in any way lead to me be disciplined or terminated or affect my personal working conditions, I request a union representative or shop steward representing this meeting. Without representation, I choose not to answer any questions. And that is, broadly what your Weingarten rights are. Like, when it comes to certain things, if your boss or, some management or anything, is trying to press you and, like, challenge you or, like, force certain bullshit on you, your Weingarten rights are basically saying, hey, I don't have to answer any of your fucking questions. I demand my union rep. And, like, basically it's the equivalent of, like, if a cop is interrogating you when you're arrested, saying, hey, I demanded my attorney. I do not answer any questions until I have a lawyer. That's basically what Weingarten rights are. It's like, hey, I ain't gonna say anything until my fucking union rep is right here, to be my representative. Like, I mean, it's the equivalent of your lawyer, basically, when it comes to your workers' rights. At least in, in the company framework. And Weingarten rights are essentially a guarantee for this shit like that. And that should be, across the fucking board. Unfortunately, it isn't because of certain things, like when it comes to right to work states. Like, states like that, like, those rights, unfortunately, don't mean shit. And here in Oregon, those rights mean a lot. And those have saved a lot of motherfuckers, that have been fucked over by companies and shit. And, hey, I might be one of those motherfuckers. Because honestly, if my company refuses, to, like, fuck off when it comes to especially me, considering the value that I put into their fucking profits. Oh, they're in for a rude awakening on that one. I mean, honestly, they really are. They don't realize that, like, the value that I put in when it comes to the work is one of the few reasons why they actually make profits. If I'm gone, the store, that Safeway is going to be fucked, dude. At least when it comes to the deli. It's done. It's a wrap. Because if I'm gone and people are like, yo, the shit isn't cleaned, stuff like this and this and that, blah, blah, blah. Like, as soon as people start bitching and, they're sick of it and they're going to go away too. Oh. Oh my God. It's already bad as it is. And if they want to make it worse, holy shit, I'm okay with that. I'm literally only waiting for new seasons to open, because once that happens, oh my God, they're fucked. They're fucked, bro. Now I'm gonna convince every single person that I can to go to new seasons with me. Like, cause I know plenty of people that do not want to see me go. And I told them, it's like, hey, if I do legitimately go, here's where I'm gonna go specifically if it does happen. Will you join me? And they're all like, yeah, sure. So I think if I were to go, there's gonna be a fucking exodus at that store. Like, a massive exodus, and I'll totally be here for it. I would love it. I want it so fucking bad. Like, I mean, frankly, especially considering the conditions of the store right now, they fucking deserve it. Like, even my main store director, I've legit been pretty sympathetic of her, but, like, at this point, it's like, you're like so like fear-mongered and like literally pussy whipped by, you know, the district management and corporate that like you're now going to legit like, you know, be a liability for people like me that, you know, actually make your fucking store and your workplace so worth a fuck. Like, seriously. Like, I mean, because honestly, whether they fire me or I quit or whatever the fuck happens, like, if they take me out, I mean, it's like I said, especially for that dev department, it is a wrap, dude. It's fucked. It's done. Because it's like me and like 2 or 3 other people that are like the only ones that actually do some legit deep cleaning of that fucking department and actually sanitize that place. Everybody else does legit the bare minimal. And I don't blame them. But, I mean, it's like, if they want to make things quote-unquote corporate standard, then they need motherfuckers like me. So, suck up the fact that, like, I take, like, you know, 5, you know, extra minutes on my break, and on my lunches I take, like, you know, maybe another 15 minutes or something. Suck it the fuck up. Realize that, like, I'm a legit fucking value to your fucking workplace. Treat me fucking fairly. And you know what? Maybe I won't be doing some shit like that. Like, honestly, if you actually pay me my fucking fair journeyman wage, like it should fucking be, maybe I want to be fucking skirting an extra 5 minutes on my break. Maybe I want to be doing an extra 15 minutes on my fucking lunch. Honest. Legit. Pay me my fucking actual wage that I should be paid, on top of literally everybody else, because I ain't the only one getting fucked over on my wage. I know for absolute fucking objective fact that, like, a lot of other people in my department, not, you know, just, you know, the rest of the store, just my department alone, a lot of us are getting fucked over of what our proper wages should actually be. Like, no one's making the actual proper journeyman, even though they should be, which at this point should be $21.53 an hour. And nobody's making that, at least at this moment, even though they should be. So, who's fucking who over again? Is it the workers who happen to be taking the extra long breaks and stuff like that? Or is it the corporation that wants their fucking bonuses and maximizing their profit and fucking, you know, the wages over of their actual workers that they hire? Huh. I wonder who it could actually fucking be. It's such a really hard question to answer. It actually isn't. I'm pretty sure it's very rhetorical. I hope you all know that. It's very fucking rhetorical. Those Dollar General $1,000 of legal fees. I mean, that seems pretty unique, honestly. Like, I guess most of his wage garnished for it. I mean, what the fuck did he do? Like, I mean, because honestly, like, in my experience, when it comes to people who get fucked over by a company and stuff like that, you know, especially when they're justified in it and they sue, like, you sue to start a union. In Alabama, right? Because that might explain it. Because it's Alabama, ignore. Okay, well, that explains it. Okay, well, I'm not shocked then. Because I'm just gonna be honest, if that guy tried to start that shit in Oregon or any other state, frankly, like, honestly, he probably would have, like, at least, like, an ability to, like, you know, like, get that in place, or at least, you know, like, actually fight for it, or at least have an ability that challenge, you know, that fucking, you know, shit in court, and, you know, and sue and actually win. Like, I mean, like, of course, I mean, it's Alabama. Right to work says otherwise. Dude, that law needs to be abolished. The fucking right to work is such an evil fucking concept, dude. It really is. I'm so glad Oregon, you know, does not have that as a law, but oh my fucking god, dude, that needs to be a federal standard again. You have a right to work without a union here. Dude, that's literally what that means. You have a right to work without a union, and thus you have a right to work for less. That's literally what it means. You have a right to work for less money than the minimum wage, and what, you know, a livable wage is, and you get to be fucked over because of it, because you're a parasite, and that's it. Like, that's literally what the law means. It's bullshit, and it's fucking parasitical, it's disgusting, and it's fundamentally anti-worker and anti-fucking humane on the virtue of it, frankly. Fuck that law. The idea of right to work. Such bullshit. Oh yeah, let me like have a right to work for like $2 an hour, because that is totally humane. Well, if you didn't want to work in the first place, at least in my hypothetical paradigm, I want to be against that. Because, yeah, I mean, you know what? Like, I mean, I fundamentally think that is really more or less just the idea that, like, you know, people just don't necessarily want to work in the traditional format of what work is. Like, I mean, think about it. Well, how would you, you know, like, consider the idea of, like, you know, obviously having a very, you know, comfortable, livable income and stuff like that, and strong benefits and stuff like that, but, like, building, like, you know, a Spider-Man game, you know, being part of, like, a development crew, you know, that is working on a Spider-Man game, or, like, you know, a Spider-Man TV show or some shit like that. I mean, honestly, I mean, you know, some shit like that. I mean, think about it. Like, you would probably, like, fuck, you know, I mean, I'm just gonna take a hunch. You'd probably jump on some shit like that. I mean, it's like, I mean, nothing about that necessarily says it's, like, traditional work and stuff like that. And it's not necessarily, like, you know, the idea of, like, you know, the blue collar, you know, fucking, you know, work ethic or whatever the fuck. But nonetheless, it's, like, you know, it's still a job. And, you know, but fundamentally, it's all based on the artistic creativity of, like, creating really fundamentally, like, a whole, you know, medium. You know, at least in this example, you know, for Spider-Man, in a sense. Maybe for, like, $2K a month, it would satisfy me. What if you made more? Because, honestly, when it comes to, like, writers or, you know, like, or actors or, you know, anybody that, like, you know, is in a part of that medium, that way, they make more than $2K a month. I mean, unfortunately, you know, they don't make, you know, that much more, hence why the WGA and the SAG-AFTRA, you know, strikes are going on right now. But, like, I mean, you know, there is certainly a value that is put into that type of work, hence why a lot of people go into that type of work. I mean, or at least try to make, you know, their shot in that type of work. I mean, at least at the end of the day. I appreciate your example, but I don't have art or writing talents. Are you sure about that? Because, I mean, there's been times where you've, like, shown me some stuff, and it's like, yeah, it's actually not bad. I have no useful skills in those articles, cultivate them. Dude, okay, look, I just don't think that's true. I mean, you could call me, you know, like, an optimist, or, like, you know, fucking, I don't know, like, you know, just, like, I don't know what the fuck. I mean, call me whatever you want, I guess, but, like, I mean, I just don't feel like that's true. You certainly got, like, you know, a level of value, you know, that is within you. It's just that, like, at the end of the day, I mean, fundamentally, like, you're the one that has to, like, kind of tap into that. I mean, other people could certainly recognize it, because I do. But, I mean, to really cultivate and achieve that, I mean, you gotta be the one to recognize it at the end of the day. You know, like, because I see it. Like, you definitely got, like, you know, some chops in the artistic field. I mean, you certainly do. I mean, you just gotta cultivate that a little bit. And you don't have to make that work. I mean, like, a lot of this, you know, the artistic adventures that I do are certainly not work at all. I mean, at least I don't consider it as such. I mean, maybe technically it is, but it, at least how I look at it, it certainly isn't. So, I mean, it's like, it's just one of those things where, like, don't look at it as work. Just look at it as, like, you know, something that is, like, a genuine expansion of what you were genuinely into. Like, and what you actually love. Like, I mean, you gotta kind of look at it from a somewhat of a different perspective. Because, like, I mean, you know, especially when it comes to things like music, for me especially, like, there's a certain degree of it that certainly is work. I mean, absolutely. Like, I mean, there's a genuine work that comes into, like, tuning my craft when it comes to being a musician. Like, you know, whatever the instrument is or whatever the fuck it is. Like, but at the end of the day, like, I don't really look at it as such. Like, I look at it as, like, something that, you know, as an artist, you know, it's just like another outlet for me to express that. And, you know, and however I tone that in, you know, is how I will do that. And I don't have to necessarily make that like some job necessarily. I mean, I could, but I don't have to. And I don't necessarily, you know, want to make it like some sort of like job in the sense of like feel like this like, you know, Greek, you know, like egregious or like, you know, fucking dragging on or some shit or whatever the fuck. But like, I want to at least, you know, make it in a sense of like, even if it is like a job, but like, it's something that I can legit enjoy and appreciate, and I still at least have some sort of a value to it. I mean, honestly, that's kind of the reason why I still have the job that I have right now. Like, the only reason why, you know, I have it is just because I have at least some appreciation in the fact that, like, I'm one of the few people that legitimately, that, like, you know, put, like, a worthy, you know, like, product when it comes to food for people to eat and stuff like that. Or, you know, make sure that, like, you know, people's needs are met when it comes to, you know, those type of things. Like, I give enough of a fuck about that, even, you know, despite it being my job, you know, but, like, as long as, you know, people aren't dicks and stuff like that, like, I mean, I'm willing to go that extra mile. And I do that a lot. Like, I mean, you know, and it's how, honestly, I get a lot of people, at least for my, especially, you know, from my personal experience, how I get people that come back that are pretty friendly. You know, because I kind of go out of my way a little bit, you know, when it comes to that. Because it's not necessarily just a job for me, but, like, I mean, this is my community, this is my neighborhood, this is my home. Like, I mean, you know, if I, like, am one of those people that, you know, is just kind of shitty, you know, in the neighborhood, I'm not going to be known as one of those people that's, like, kind of a cool dude or whatever the fuck. Like, I mean, like, for earlier tonight when I was at the bar, you know, stuff like that. Like, I mean, even before somebody knew it was my birthday, they literally paid for my drink because they were paying it forward a little bit. And honestly, next time I go to the bar, I'm going to do that myself, honestly. Because, like, I mean, that was pretty cool. That was legit, like, awesome, and didn't expect that whatsoever, and, you know, and it was awesome. So it's just like, I mean, like, you know, that happened for me at least, you know. It's just like, and at least in some part, I mean, there probably, maybe I don't think about it, but there's probably an off chance that, like, a couple weeks ago or a couple months ago or whenever the fuck, you know, I give her a hookup when it came to, like, you know, some fried chicken or some shit like that at my deli, you know, at my store. I mean, I don't necessarily recognize her face right off the bat and stuff like that, but it's just those tiny little things. Maybe she recognized me. You know, she recognized me being at the store and, you know, knowing that, you know, I'm kind of chill and, like, you know, trying to make sure that people are happy when they, you know, leave my department and stuff like that. Maybe she recognized me. I don't necessarily recognize her. But because of what my job is and, you know, what, like, I do and stuff, like, I mean, there's a certain level, you know, of appearance to where, like, yeah, you know, it's kind of somewhat worth of shit. I mean, like, and that's why, yeah, I mean, to a certain extent, at the end of the day, I kind of care, you know, because, like, you know, whether or not she actually recognized me because of, like, you know, working at the store that I do, or just because she was just being nice, really, at the end of the day, who really gives a shit what her intentions were? But, like, I mean, it's just a sign of things, because there has been times where I've, you know, shown up at the bar and stuff like that, and I either meet coworkers or people that were customers and will actually recognize me and stuff like that, and will have a rapport with me a little bit, even though I might not necessarily recognize them right off the bat. I mean, you know, but nonetheless, it happens. I mean, and at least for me, I'm okay with that. You know, and like, you know, and that's just kind of, you know, the level of community that, at least around here, that, you know, kind of happens a little bit still. And really just needs to be more encouraged, you know, honestly, you know, just across the board. Because, like, I know for a fact that, like, you know, this kind of, like, communal sense of what I'm talking about, it really isn't that strong, you know, across the board. Like, it kind of, I mean, it feels weird, but, like, it kind of seems like, you know, the area that I'm in is kind of, like, literally an outlier in so much of what this fucking country, you know, was. You know what I mean? Like, because I grew up with, like, you know, this whole idea of, like, you know, the neighborhood being pretty communal and people knowing each other and having friends, you know, going to the park and stuff like that, and just random shit like that, you know, like, but, like, nowadays it just seems more isolative, you know, like, I mean, and that really isn't as strong as it really could be. And, you know, it's like, because, I mean, realistically, like, I mean, how many people really do know their neighbors? You know what I mean? Like, and even for me, like, I don't really necessarily know all my neighbors. I know enough of them. I know some of them. I mean, I know enough about what their lifestyles are and, you know, who they are and stuff like that. But I don't necessarily go out of my way to totally communicate with them, and they don't do the same thing for me, you know? Like, it's just things like that, you know? It's like, it's like those tiny little things, you know, really honestly do kind of, like, you know, add more fruitfulness and, like, add more, like, of a connection to a neighborhood and to, like, a, you know, like a block even. Like, even if it's just, even if your neighborhood, so to speak, is just like one block. I mean, it's like, you know, just being a little connected to that can even make a pretty big difference. I mean, at least, you know, to me personally. Because, like, I mean, at least, you know, just for my own little street, out of, like, how many houses are here? 1, 2, me included, there's 3. Out of the 8 houses that are on my little dead-end street, I know, like, fucking 4 people. And one of them more just because they happen to be employed by a company that also happens to be affiliated with ours. She happens to be hired by Lisa Watson, and she's a district like distributor slash like manager or whatever the fuck. I don't know exactly what her position is, but like she basically handles a lot of like the Lisa Watson like food sales and all this other shit within the like local district of our stores and stuff. And she literally lives right across the street from me. So like I see her a lot and I know her pretty well. But like outside of her, like I don't really know too many of my neighbors, you know, outside of like a couple of them. Where did I fucking let it go? Oh, there it is. Yeah. Get back here, bitch. I know another one because he is a part of the Gambler 500 Club, and he happens to be just a, you know, like a little down the street, and I know him, but I don't really know him because, like, he's a part of the whole Gambler 500 Club and stuff like that. Like, I mean, he's a part of that. So I know him because of that. I mean, he's right across the street, like, they have their little dog, and sometimes my dog Zukov will invade their neighborhood and their property and shit like that, and fucking go and investigate their farm, you know, their little like garden and little small little farm and stuff like that, and also bullshit. Like, I mean, my dog invades their property so often. It's ridiculous. So I know my name. I know them right next door because of that. Because Zukov's a little asshole. But you know, and outside of that, I got my neighbors right across the street, and they've been there forever. So I've known them for quite a while. So yeah, I mean, yeah, it's about four. I mean, outside of those four, like I don't really know anyone else. And in the general vicinity in the broader neighborhood, so to speak, like I mean, I don't really know one or two other people outside of that in my neighborhood. And that's just like two streets, mine and the one right over here, where I walk, you know, to the store and shit. Like, I mean, that's not a lot of people. Like, I'm acquainted with a lot, you know, of people in general, but like when it comes to actually like knowing people and stuff like that, not a lot. I mean, like, I know a lot of people in a sense in this neighborhood, but in my like actual like little clique in my general neighborhood, like in my vicinity, not a lot of people. Like I know a lot of people in just in the broader Portland area, you know, especially that, you know, come around this, you know, part of the woods and stuff. But like that's the kind of thing, you know. I mean, if bring it full circle, it's just like this whole like communal like neighborhood, like, you know, bringing like knowing your neighbors, stuff like that. It's just not really as common as like it used to be. Like, cause when I grew up, I pretty much knew every motherfucker that was like, you know, on this street, up and down here. I fucking knew every motherfucker that was like up and down this street and stuff. But nowadays, I only know like a couple. Really, maximum like 4 or 5. You know, and that's just like you're within like a block or two radius. And it's like, you know, when I was growing up, that was totally different. I mean, that's just like the early 2000s too. I mean, it's like, and now it's like, you know what, like 2023 going on 2024? I mean, it's like 20 years later, like, or more. I mean, it's really fucking changed. I mean, like, legitimately. I mean, at least around here, not as much, because the last time I was at, like, you know, one of the parks that has, like, you know, some of these little playgrounds and stuff, there were a bunch of kids, you know, hanging out and, you know, doing their own thing and shit. And, you know, so luckily, I mean, at least around here, there's still kind of a sense of, like, communal neighborhoodship and stuff like that, where people know each other, and where kids are, instead of playing Fortnite or hanging out at the park, at least around here, there's still some of that shit happening, but, man, I mean, I will admit, it feels more few and far in between in comparison to how it used to be. I mean, legitimately. Like, when I was growing up, it feels like, I mean, every day there was, like, kids, you know, at the park, like, all the time. And now, like, you know, when I'm walking my dog, I mean, sometimes I'll, you know, have them, you know, pass through these parks and stuff, too, you know, because, you know, it's a nice big open field. And, you know, sometimes I'll, you know, play fetch with him over there and shit. And, like, and half the time, like, there's no one there. Like, and when I was growing up, like, every day there was, like, kids there and shit. And now, like, at this point, there might be, like, you know, some stoner bros, you know, that might be hanging out. Or there'll be some kids, you know, with, like, 2 or 3 of their friends. And that'll be, like, on the weekend specifically. Like, when it's not school. Yeah, like, that's pretty much it. Like, they'll be hanging out for the afternoon until later, like, after 5 o'clock or some shit like that, and then they'll go back home and then play Fortnite with each other on multiplayer or something. Like, I mean, it's like, it's some shit like that, you know, but, you know, it's one of those things where it's like, I'm just kind of glad where there's at least still some sort of, like, finite level of this shit, but my fucking god, it needs to really come back. Because I feel like, you know, a lot of this whole isolated, tribalistic bullshit that our country really feels right now, especially with politics, really comes from this disconnection from, like, you know, our communities and our neighbors and stuff. Like, so much of this tribalism, I think, really does come from that. Because, I mean, to be granted, there's definitely people around the neighborhood that are more, like, conservative than not and stuff like that, but whatever. I mean, they're not, like, you know, some sort of, like, hardcore fashy MAGA right-wing chud or some shit. I mean, they just, in a way, tend to legitimately misguide it. And honestly, a lot of motherfuckers like that, you know, in this country, you know, like, are more dotted in our neighborhoods more than we think. And, I mean, it's like to try to reconnect with them would kind of give them a little bit more of an outlet that isn't this reciprocal fucking cycle of extremist bullshit, and stuff like that. Like, I mean, I think I want to say, especially when it comes to the left and the progressive left, I mean, that's really something that needs to be rekindled. It's this idea that, like, we need to kind of, like, attach ourselves to the kind of local community a little bit again. Because, like, one thing that Republicans, and especially the far-right GOP and these extremists, like, levels, of the conservative wing are really kind of tapping into is the broader local level. And, generally the left kind of needs to look at that, because that's where really, the biggest impact happens when it comes to, like, different governmental affairs, or, like, when it comes to things like what's taught in schools and stuff like that. Like, I mean, that's really the big major thing that we need to look at. I mean, it's not like, Biden versus Trump or some shit. I mean, that ain't it. Like, it's the local shit that really fucking matters. Because these Republicans, these far-right extremists, and these Trumpist types get that shit. But, I mean, do we? Because, I mean, that really needs to be something that needs to be focused on way more so than not. Because, I mean, that's really where a lot of this influence is, making its hayway. Is, with shit like that. And and especially when it comes to the general left broadly, I mean, that's really something that needs to be hit specifically. Because, like, I mean, that's what's causing a lot of this, like, factionalization, I would argue. It's like a lot of this, like, local tribalizational, like, politics that is happening, county by county, state by state, city by city, stuff like that. That's where it's happening. It's not really the national level, so to speak. I mean, that certainly helps exacerbate it, but that doesn't really have as much of an influence that, we really want to think it does. I mean, the local level really has more of an influence than we really want to give it credit for. I mean, I see the results of that personally. Like, I mean, the local elections in the last, like, 8-something years around here have honestly been way more fruitful because of the fact that there's been politicians and candidates that actually give a shit. Like Mark Gamba, he's now, at least in the 41st like state Congress seat now at this point, but he used to be my mayor. And the reason why he's now at that seat is because when he ran as mayor, he advocated very strongly for, changing things up a little bit and actually making things better and beneficial for people here in Milwaukee. And when he became the mayor here, he, like, actually showed results and actually had things that were, like, beneficial, for people like me as well. And because of that, legitimately gave, like, an actual, influence and an actual kind of, like, way for him to, get up and move himself up, into an area to where he can be more influential. At least in this case, now in the Oregon Congress. So it's like, I mean, it's one of those things where local politics legitimately can have a way more of a bigger impact than people really fucking think. Because of shit like that. I mean, it doesn't seem like it's, like, that significant or that impactful, so to speak, but it really honestly is. It legitimately is. Way more so than, than you really think. Like, seriously, it really is. I mean, because of Mark Gamba, the fucking road, like, right off of my street right up here, like, it used to be honestly kind of dangerous, to, like, walk on and stuff like that. And now, like, they totally redid the infrastructure, and redid some sidewalks, actually paved, like, a whole, like, bike, slash pedestrian pathway on one side, and, and this, like, nice, really good sidewalk on the other side. Like, they really did this whole road up here, so, like, it is so much better that it makes me proud. And I'm actually happy that, I had a mayor that was able to solidify some shit up here that, honestly, like, not only makes my, like, trek to work safer, but, makes just the general neighborhood safer and better and more communal for, pedestrians like me. Like, it just makes it better. It makes them, like, just more generally, like, tight-knit. It makes it more, like, connected. It makes it feel more safer. It just kind of feels better. It feels more like a neighborhood now, in a way. Like, it honestly does. That's because of Mark Gamba, a local politician. My local politician, but one I'm fucking proud of. If you ever were to become a congressman or a senator, you goddamn fucking believe I'll vote for him. As far as I'm concerned, if he ever makes, his way up in any other form of, politics, I'm going to certainly vote for him, because he's proved the results. I see it. He's done that for me, and, what he's done as a mayor has shown those results, and that's what really fucking matters. That's what matters. Politicians like him actually are worth the shit, and the key is that they're more local, because they're more connected to the actual community and, what's the actual plight, of what's going on. It's not just some national shit where realistically they don't give a fuck. They're just going to the states that matter the most so they can try to win the most votes. That's, on a national level, it's way more detached. And it doesn't really mean as much. It should, but it doesn't. And hopefully, we could get to the point where it does actually mean shit. Because it absolutely certainly should. It should mean just as much as these local elections do. It really should. But it just unfortunately doesn't. Especially with the Electoral College. Honestly, even if everything else was the same, if we just got rid of our Electoral College, when it comes to our broader democracy, it would be, honestly better. In so many fucking ways. Because all this type of shit needs to be done via the popular vote, and the idea that it's just not attached to that, but just basically by land mass and also the bullshit, that's ridiculous. Isn't democracy supposed to be one man, one vote, basically? But that's not what our system's based off of. It's based off of land mass and how many people happen to live on that said land. It's just fucking ridiculous. And thus by proxy, some states are literally irrelevant and basically mean nothing, and thus those states suffer fundamentally in the long term because of that shit. There's a lot of states like that. The states that have a lot of electoral points, notice how those ones tend to fare a little better than the ones that don't. Because because fundamentally, at the end of the day, when it comes to the votes, especially with the Electoral College, those states, are a lot more of an impact when it comes to, who potentially can win the presidency and stuff like that. And to the parties, whether Republican or Democrat, it literally doesn't matter. They're going to look at those states and see that as more as an investment versus the ones that do not have as many electoral points. When it comes to Wyoming or Colorado or any of these other random states. These states that don't have as many electoral points versus California, Texas, Ohio, or whatever the fuck, any of these other states, they care a lot more about those type of states. But when it comes to any of these tiny states that have 2, 3, 4, 5, electoral points at most, they barely pay attention to it, at all. They might, for a breadcrumb or two, just, to see if they can try to solidify, that, state, but beyond that, they don't give a fuck. On national level, it unfortunately does not mean much. I really wish lefties would, at least, some of the ones that talk about electoralism really focus more about, local shit. Because that is what really, honestly matters way more than the national shit. Voting for Biden, or whatever the fuck, don't mean much, versus, voting for your mayor, or voting for, a state congress, person, or something like that. That type of shit matters way more than voting for presidency. Because, at this point, when it comes to national level and shit, when it comes to, senators, or, presidency, or stuff like that, it don't really mean that much. Unfortunately, like I said, it should, but it doesn't. Local stuff matters way more. I mean, I'll always, like fucking fight on that hill. Like, I'll be an advocate for voting on local elections, but on national stuff, yeah, I'm certainly a lot more cynical about. I mean, at least, for me as a lefty, that's, a difference, when it comes to my electoralism. Like, it needs to be more focused locally, because that generally has more importance and a lot more of an impact, and I think a lot more fruit, to bear. I mean, legitimately, because I've seen those fucking results myself. I mean, if I could see those results myself in comparison, to the results on a national or even on a state level, then, where is the actual, like, progress, going on here then? Like, is it on local stuff, where, your vote actually can mean more of an influence and actually have more of an impact? Or is it in the national shit where your vote doesn't even matter at all because it's all based off of electoral college bullshit? I mean, honestly, it's like, seems like the local / state level stuff seems to matter way more in comparison. I mean, and if anything, I mean, even like electoralists themselves will, say the same thing. So I'm not even saying anything controversial. So it's like, why aren't we just focusing on this shit specifically instead of national shit? Because, I mean, it's not like the national shit isn't unimportant, but you would think the local stuff, would be just as, if not more important, though. But that doesn't really get brought up as much. And to me, that seems like kind of a problem. Because if we want to see some fucking results, then let's start focusing on our local elections. Let's solidify our towns. Let's solidify our counties. Let's solidify our power there. Because if we can't do it on a national level, then, hey, I mean, fuck. I mean, at least in various different places, in this country, we could solidify our power, at least on local levels. Republicans sure shit fucking know that. And they're gung-ho about fucking pushing that shit. So, why aren't we on the progressive left side? Because we certainly should, especially when it comes to things like school boards, when it comes to like city councils, stuff like that. Like, we absolutely need to be on the aggressive on these type of things, because the Republicans are, the GOP, the Christian fascists are. I mean, they absolutely are fucking gung-ho for that. I mean, so we should really be focusing on that shit. I mean, honestly. I mean, I honestly know I'm not wrong. Because like I said, I mean, nothing I'm saying is controversial. Whether on the right or the left. Like, I mean, really. Because anyone who, supports the idea of electoralism understands this fucking value. It's just that no one really wants to put this, first. Put this as, like, the main value versus, like, more on the back burner. Because for some reason, I guess national politics matters way more. Even though the local politics matters, frankly, a lot more for you. Because that, is what actually can, give you the benefit in your local area. And actually see the results. Like I said, when it comes to things that I've seen as results, for my area, living in my county and living in my city, or really town, I guess, right outside of Portland, the results that I've seen are due to the local city councilors and due to the mayor, Mark Gamba, now the 41st, state congressman. So it's just like, a lot of these results I've seen that have genuinely been positive for my broader upbringing, even despite, all this other shit. I mean, it's because of these various different type of people. And because of the mayor as well. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, he had to sign off on a lot of shit. So, I mean, these are the people, and that's the area where you genuinely will see those results. I mean, for me, it's like, I don't give up electoralism, at least on a local level, but at least on a national level, I mean, that's certainly where I'm more disenfranchised and more cynical about. Because, like, if we want to really change that, we need to look at the local level first. And no one really wants to do that. They want to try to like change the national level before they look at the local level. And it's like, you can't really do that. You have to like, you know, I mean, as any grassroots movement, you know, like starts, I mean, they always start from the bottom up. You can't really start from the top down. So it's like the focus really needs to just change. And hopefully, honestly, like this electoral season, you know, we might see a little bit of that. Because most people aren't necessarily, you know, looking at, you know, Biden right now as like, yeah, so let me just vote for this guy because I like him. They're just kind of, you know, supportive of him, just the, you know, idea that Trump might be, you know, the nominee of the Republican side, and this is going to be a rehash. Like, people are just basically, you know, looking at that as, you know, as that. So, great. You know, like, I mean, you know, if that's the case, then the local level especially means way more, you know, much more important, especially on the state level. Like, I mean, even if on the national level, when it comes to, like, this idea that, like, regardless if it's, like, Trump or whoever the fuck, you know, on the nominee side of things, for the Republican side, like, I mean, for all intents and purposes, like, Biden is, like, the main guy that, you know, is going to be nominee on the Democratic side. Yeah, if that's the case, then, like, the local level even means, you know, like, honestly, in a way more so, because, like, if Biden wants to try to, like, you know, get some sort of, like, extra little, like, edge, I mean, he will look at a lot of these, like, local Democratic politicians, whether on the city level, county level, or state level, and being like, hey, the reason why I got results, Jack, is because of these motherfuckers. Because these guys were elected during the midterms and during, you know, the 2020 election and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. Like, I mean, he would use that as, like, you know, some sort of excuse. But, I mean, at least as it stands right now, I mean, we don't really necessarily see that. I don't even know if he would even do it. Though he should. Because actually, I mean, legit, that would probably be beneficial for him. Like, you know, taking some of the results from these, you know, local, like, Democrat, like, you know, like, politicians that, you know, been elected in the last, like, you know, 3 to 4 years, and saying, hey, a part of the reason why some results have happened in some of these states because of these guys, yeah, like, that would be pretty beneficial. But I just don't necessarily see that. I mean, maybe at least for a couple of them, but not all of them. I mean, even though he should, because that would be very beneficial, especially for the states that, you know, could be liable to be a swing state. Like, whether it's like Arizona or Ohio or any of these other states. I mean, there's certain states that could potentially be swing states that he would really want to win. And if you want to, you know, solidify that shit, you want to look at, like, you know, the local politicians that, you know, help push your agenda, so to speak. And I don't know if Biden's going to be able to do that because he's too much of a dementia out of the fuck, and I don't think his staffers give enough fuck about shit like that anyway. So, it's one of those things I guess we'll have to see. Because we're still early on the primary / you know, like, debate thing so far right now. So, I mean, we'll see. But I'm not exactly very optimistic about it. Wait, at the risk of becoming a child, the only things I care about are my mother and cats and gaming. That does. Dude, don't care. I'm gonna be a horrible old man. You're not even really that, like, old, and you're not even really that grumpy. And also, I have a strong feeling that you could probably, like, open yourself up to new hobbies. I mean, don't be too much of a curmudgeon now. Come on. Yeah, go to the bathroom quick. Oh, what the hell? Oh, god damn it. Speaker turned off. There we go. Alright, I'll be right back. Is my dog sleeping? Oh, were you having a little dream? I heard you. Yeah, a little dream. Damn it, dog. Ugh. Ugh. Oof. Ugh. Fucking goof. Little drum. Who's a little drum? You fucking goof. You're just like sprawled out. Oh my god, you fucking worm. Look at you. Oh my god. You fucking worm. Dude, look at you. Do you not give a fuck? You are just in bliss. This dog is in bliss over the fact that I'm just like treating him like a drum. You don't give a fuck, dude. Look at this little mutt. Look at him. He don't give a shit. Little goof. Well. Oh my god. You're still gonna be a drum. You little drum boy. Just a little drum boy. He's a little goof. Come back here, boy. You're still my percussion. You're still my percussion instrument. You sure don't care, do you? You sure don't give a shit, do you? Yeah. Yeah. I don't think this dog cares. You don't care that I treat you like a percussion instrument? Oh, you sweet little handsome boy, who's just a good little pup. Are you just a good pup? Are you just a good pup? Yes, you is. Yes, yes, yes. Your little ears flipped. Aww. Good. There we go. Yeah, flip both of his ears. What are you gonna do about it? Well. Oh. Jesus. Oh, shit. that was a fucking ambush if I've ever seen one. Oh, wait. Hey, your tail. Well, hey. Your tail's like over the table. Don't do that. Ugh. Ugh. Goddamn dog. You goof. Big old goofball. Look at you. Oh my fucking. I can just squeeze you until you pop. I can just squeeze you until you popped. Oh. Oh. I mean, I squeeze him as hard as I can, and all he does is go. And he does that sometimes. Why do you not care that I just, like, for all intents and purposes, for, like, literally any other dog, do abuse? Oh, shit. Oh, oh, hello. Yeah, like every other time that like this happens. This would normally be abuse, but to you, it's nothing. Don't do that. You're gonna make me want to yawn. I'm not tired. Don't do that to me. Seriously? You don't care at all that I just did that to you. Oh, little baby. Oh. Oh. He's just a good boy. He's a good baby. Yes, yes, yes. Oh. 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 You just a sleepy little thing, dude. Oh, you just a sleepy thing. Yeah. 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 Oh, you're so cute. You're so cute. You're so adorable. Yes, yes, yes. Hmm? Hmm? Yeah? You're a good little boy. You're just a good boy. Yeah? Hmm? You fucking lazy little fuck, dude. Look at you. Look at you. You're lazy as fuck. You little munchkin, bro. My goodness. Look at you. Look at you, you fucking goof. What is this, dude? Like, what is this, like, position that you're doing here, bro? Like, what the... Oh my god, the fucking sprawled out legs, just these little feet just kicking out, just hanging out here and shit. What is this? What are you doing? What is this? Like, I mean, can you explain this to me? You fucking little goof. What are you even staring at? You're staring off into oblivion. There's nothing over there. There's, like, you're staring at a jacket. Or is, what are you staring at? Do you even know? Oh my god, look at you. You are a fucking goof. Oh my god, you're a goofball. A little goofball. Alright. Jesus! You're so aggressive about the departure of the lap, dude. Very aggressive. Not cool. You can, like, chill the fuck out with that, okay? Just saying. You don't have to make it sound like there's a fucking creek running in this goddamn garage, bro. Oh my god, he's... Okay, well, you know what? I guess that's what he's doing. I guess there was a creek in the garage for about, like, a good minute there or so. No, he's going back. Oh no. He's out for round 2. Seriously? He's so loud, dude. So loud. You know, you could do that, but way more quieter. You know that? And I know that's true, because you've done it quieter than this. I've heard you do it quieter than this. Like, you're doing this purposely, you little dick. Like, seriously? I have to groom himself. Really? I had to make it a creek in the garage, and now he's like, oh, got itch, gotta scratch, gotta groom myself, gotta make sure I'm clean, do this and that, and now he's in that phase. Thanks. Thanks, bruh. You little troglodytic little fuck. At least you're a sweet boy. At least that's what you are. There's actually like this big fluffy like husky doggo that was at the bar that at least from my understanding, I think the guy goes there at least every Saturday for sure. And you know, and I brought my dog this time around, and those two, like, they're both very friendly dogs. Like, I mean, Zukov is, and the other one is for sure. But when they first met each other, they were like obviously both friendly, but both of them standoffish at the same time. It was kind of cute. I mean, in a way, it was like, you know, you didn't know right off the bat, but like, I mean, once it kind of like happened to a situation where it's like, okay, you know, obviously nothing's really bad gonna happen, then it was okay. You know, but it was kind of silly, you know, watching them kind of first interact, you know, right off the bat, because they're both friendly, but they didn't really know if the other one was friendly or not, so they're kind of like, what the fuck? And they're kind of doing that shit a little bit. It was kind of adorable. Because Zukov was pretty friendly with, like, pretty much any living organism that he happens to run across. So, the idea of him just, like, seeing another doggo that obviously is just as friendly as he is, but, like, basically just being kind of, like, oh, kind of somewhat standoffish. I mean, that's kind of adorable in my mind, because he never really is. Like, he's always the one that wants to walk up to, like, you know, the dog first, or, like, to whatever the hell he sees. Like, he wants to walk up, you know, first. Like, so the idea of him being standoffish and being like, what the fuck? You know, it's kind of like a first for me, especially. I didn't think that he would, you know, like, honestly, you know, be kind of like that. So when I heard about that and saw that, I was like, I was kind of surprised. I mean, because that's kind of a first. Usually he has, like, no fear or or anything. Honestly, whatever instinct in in like a dog that should be there to be like, hey, you probably should avoid a maybe potential threat. Like that ain't in him, like at all. So I was kind of surprised to hear about that and see that too. Because I heard about it and I was like, oh really? I went outside and saw that. I was like, really? I mean, Zukov wasn't being aggressive by any means. Like, he was being friendly, but he just didn't want to like approach the other dog necessarily, and until the other one like showed itself as friendly, which eventually it did. But like, seeing him stand off like, like, what the fuck? And kind of like that. It was certainly a first. I never seen that before. Because usually he's not like that. So I guess it kind of got flexed on. He kind of needs to have that happen to him, honestly. He feels like he can get away with pretty much damn near anything. So, honestly, he kind of needs that a little bit. He needs to be kind of, taught a lesson there and there. He needs it. Because honestly, at least around here, he doesn't really do anything that's, like, necessarily overtly worthy of such. At least, not yet. At least not in a long time. It's been in, one or two times before, but not in a long time. So, he needs somebody else, to really kind of take up the mantle. So if, like, some random little, friend that he makes as a doggo, another doggo wants to, kind of like teach him a little lesson here and there or something like that. I'm kind of okay with that. He needs to like learn to stick up for himself too. Like, he's such a little like pacifistic, little friendly bitch. Like, he needs to actually learn what the hell aggression is and like, use it. I wouldn't necessarily be totally against, him being kind of like flexed on, as long as he, kind of realizes how that works and does it back. At least a little bit. I legitimately don't, I don't think he understands that concept. I don't think he understands what that is. So, unfortunately, I kind of think I have to let him experience it a little bit for him to kind of get it, so. But hey, it's growing pains. Because, like, Zukov had to do that for swimming. I had to do that for him last week, so. This might be one of those things. But it's hopefully not like anything really bad. And I would not want that anyway. If it was that, then I would be like, nope. He just seems like, some friendly pooch who also happens to have like a little bit of a dominant side to be like, yeah. You can't just do whatever you want, bruh. Like, we can play, but within reason, bitch. Like, it has to be like a doggo like that. Friendly enough, but willing to at least, like, show him his place. You know what I'm saying? Like, it needs to be one of those doggos. Which he's met before, but I don't think long enough to really kind of understand the dynamic. Because he loves to push his limits. Zukov is a dog that loves to push those buttons. The other night, he literally almost ate some of my pizza. Like, I had some pizza, and I was like, eating some of the slices of it, and I looked over, and he started licking one of my slices. And I was like, oh, hell no. I was like, oh, hell no. You're not going to be eating one of my slices, let alone lick it. I was like, nope. I'll give you, like, a piece of pepperoni or something, but I'm not gonna give you a fucking pizza, you little shit. It's like a little bastard, trying to seek a pizza. So it's like, So, he certainly, because of things like that, he certainly needs, some other entity to kind of help him, like put him in his place a little bit. Because he thinks I just play with him every time I, get serious with him. I'm pretty sure he just thinks I'm playing with him 90% of the time. Because he's just a goofball. He's just a goofball like that. Like, I'm pretty sure he just thinks that. So, he needs, like, some other entity and some other being, especially another dog, to, like, show him the way a little bit. So. Aww. Curled up in a little ball, just sleeping over there. Aww. So cute. Honestly, flaws and all, he's the most sweetest little thing, and I would not trade him for anything. Like, at all. Sweet little boy. He's so cute. He's so cute and adorable. But anyway, getting a little hungry, so I think I'll at least grab myself some food. A lot of fun stuff. And, well, I guess it was a little late, so fuck it. Anyway, peace out, everybody. Of course, I'll see all that for the next one, so a toodaloo, buckaloos.